Hey gang, John Baccarelli here with your Lake St. Clair Fishing Report, brought to you by Sportsmen's Direct. It is Thursday, February 20th. Water temperature is frozen still. Shore access sites are still all a-go up and down Lake St. Clair. The only place that there's any issues that I'm still aware of is over at the Clinton River Cutoff boat launch. I swung in there today to take a quick look at things. And they still have the mouth of the canal coned off, and they still have barricades at the launch itself. But people are still launching, as they were in my previous report, down along that old seawall from where the old boat launch used to be, and it looks like they're getting on there without any trouble whatsoever. So if you do need to launch there, I would advise launching at that same location. It did look like somebody tried to sneak around the cones, and I don't know why they would do that other than maybe just ignorance. They didn't know any better. But there were machine tracks that went around the cones. So I am kind of curious, though, how thick it is right over in that area by the cones now after we had that cold snap. So if anybody feels adventurous and wants to go over there and auger some holes through there and let us know what the thickness is, that would be cool. But anyways, there's still other options, so you don't need to worry about that. If you don't want to go anywhere near those cones, I wouldn't. Let's see. Sounds like there's going to be, from what I'm hearing, big snowmobile races up on the north end of the lake out in front of the Fairhaven boat launch this coming weekend. It sounds like they're going to have the really fast sleds on an oval track out there on the ice, or maybe a couple of oval tracks going. So it doesn't mean you can't fish out there. It just means you're going to want to get away from the noise. And with the ice as thick as it is up on that north end, you shouldn't have any trouble getting away from the noise. It sounds like guys are fishing all the way out to the horseshoe without any trouble. And sounds like a lot of guys are driving their trucks out on the ice, which I never advise. I always joke with people and say that's why God created snowmobiles and ATVs, but I'm not really joking. I'm serious about that. I don't take my vehicle out on the ice ever. I take my ATVs out there. So, but as it may, there's going to be some kind of big event up there. It's probably going to be pretty loud, and you're going to probably want to get away from it for the fishing up there. Satellite images showed that basically the lake is healed now. The open water that was out there that kind of had stretched from around the point at Metro and then down a couple of miles out along the shoreline. In this last image that I got today, even though it was a little cloudy, you could not see that dark strip anymore. So I don't think it was clouds covering it up. I think it's frozen over now. So I would say that we are probably as close to 100% ice cover as we're going to see. And so there's really nowhere for the ice to go until you get all the way down by the Detroit River, and that almost never really freezes for any amount of time because of all the current down there. So right now we're pretty darn well locked up, and probably will stay that way until we get a major thaw and a wind event to start moving things around, which leads me into the weather forecast. We just have some really awesome looking both the short-term and the long-term forecast look great. Short-term, we're going to have falling barometer here for the next couple of days going through the weekend, which means the bite should pick up. It means we're going to have some warmer temperatures, which are going to do a couple of things. Number one, with the warmer temps, it's going to make it easier on you guys to get out there and fish, where we've had below zero temps here. And single digits for the last several days, which has made a lot more ice, but it makes it really tough to fish out there when it's windy, snowy, and that cold. So we're going to have some warmer temps. That's also going to help compact that snow down out there, which is going to make it easier for you folks to get around, both short-term and long-term. And then as we go into after we have like 4 or 5 days of warm weather, and then we're going to go into another colder period, which is going to firm things back up. It's going to make some more ice, if you can believe that. And then after that, we'll just have to wait and see. But long-term forecast looks like there's going to be a little bit up and down, but I really don't think we're going to have like a major immediate warm-up from any of the forecasts that I've seen. It's still going to be relatively below average temperatures overall on average. And we should be ice fishing well into March, and we may even get lucky and have some early April ice in some of the backwaters and canals, and who knows, maybe even some shoreline areas on the lake. But we're definitely having a epically long ice fishing season with some amazing fishing. So let's talk about the bite. The bite overall has slowed somewhat around the lake, okay? But I would definitely not say that it's bad, because they're still getting limits of fish out there for some of these guys, and the quality of the fish is just fantastic. So I definitely would not say it's bad. I would say that it's slowed down from what we had a few weeks ago when we had first ice, but still very, very good. Whether you're like a high-tech fisherman like Joey Elliott, and you're sitting out there with underwater lights and electronics and your iPhone propped up in front of you and, video cameras and stuff going, or whether you're like my buddy Dan Yurt and you're going totally old school out there and using, the old stick rods and, the little bobbers with the corks. It doesn't matter what you're doing out there. There's still plenty of fish to be caught. Okay, and both types of applications are gonna get you there. Both systems are gonna get you there, whether you're using the high tech stuff or whether you're using low tech stuff. You just really got to be mobile. Okay, you got to be mobile. You got to be aware that there's both a deeper bite and a shallow bite going on pretty much all the time, and you got to move around until you find those really active, aggressive fish. And then sometimes you got to wait them out. We've had a really good early morning bite. We've had kind of a good like midday bite. I'll call it like around 1-2 o'clock-ish. And then there's a very, very aggressive but very short-lived evening bite right before dark. And that's been going here for a while, and those are really consistent patterns that have been going on out there. Now, my buddy Mike Colombo got into that early morning bite out there just today, and our very own Spencer was out there, and he was hitting them, and it was also a morning bite. And I know Spence likes to stay out there all day and kind of camp, and he'll fish from sunrise all the way till sunset sometimes. It's been a good bite out there. So it's definitely worth getting out there. We've had some big changes this week on the board, and this will be a testament to how good the fishing has been. First, Reese finally gets past Fly Rod John in the pike division, and I mean, he just blew by him with this 41.5-inch northern that weighed just under 16 pounds. And I think that's the first northern that we've had over 40 inches since we've started doing the contest. And according to Reese, he actually saw a bigger fish out there that same day when he speared that 41.5. So, and that's the story we all hear about, right? It's always the one that got away. It's the one we missed. Even when we do get a really big one like a wall mounter, it seems like when those big fish are active, they're really active. And that can also be said for Jacob, who is our new crappie division leader. And this is another really quality fish. This is a 15-inch crappie, weighed just a hair under 2 pounds. So that's the new leader in the crappie division. And then today, get a little drum roll. We don't have any sound effects, so, well, whatever. We broke the 2-pound barrier on the perch finally today. Travis, he started sending me messages last night. Yesterday, he got this 2-pound perch. He said it was over 2 pounds. He said it was over 15 inches in his messages to me. And when he brought it in today, it really was. It was 15.25 inches, and it was just over 2 pounds. I think it was 2.035 pounds. But beautiful perch. Brought it in alive. He's going to get it mounted. Just gorgeous, nice proportions. Wasn't one of these fishes with the giant gut on it or anything. It was just a beautiful, thick fish from head to tail. And hearing him tell his story to me too. Now, this fish was caught in like 4 to 5 feet of water. Okay. And, we're hearing that from a lot of guys. Like I said, there's been a good shallow bite. You have to wait those fish out. You might only get a couple of schools of fish that come through where you are, but when you do, they're going to come through hot and heavy. Sometimes they'll drive you crazy. Sometimes they won't bite. Other times they come in and they just smoke that bait. And when he was telling me his story about this fish, it sounded like there were a couple of fish down there that were even bigger than this one. And, this one just happened to grab the bait before the other one did, and that'll happen sometimes, right? But luckily it was still a 15-incher. But I guess the one that was down there that they were in competition for the bait was even bigger yet. So, and that happens, and it's crazy exciting when it does, when you have clear water down there and you're watching all that go on underneath you. It'll really get you pumped. And thankfully, he's got something to show for it, and he's got this beautiful fish that he's going to get mounted. So, and right now, that is the leading fish. And I'll tell you, with the size and quality of the fish that we're getting out there, do I think that 2-pounder is going to hold? Probably not. I think, we could even hit the 2.5-pound mark this year at the way things are going. That fish was 15. I know there's some 16s out there. Guys are seeing them. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But once we get into that March Madness bite, I think we're really going to see it. It's going to be pretty amazing. Let's see. As far as the store goes, as far as inventory goes, we did just get some augers in. It may be the last load of augers for the season. I know a lot of you guys are looking for those shelter anchor tools and anchors. We got more of those in as well. We got reloads on Swedish pimples, on a lot of different baits. So if you're needing tackle here going into the late part of the season, we should have you covered. Got a lot more line in as well too, and all your normal incidentals. So should be a great weekend. Should be much warmer temps this weekend to get out there and enjoy it. Ice conditions are still phenomenal. Haven't degraded at all. If anything, they've gotten thicker every day. So hopefully we'll see you in the store this weekend. Get out and enjoy the amazing fishing we've got on Lake St. Clair. Hey gang, if you like our content, hit the little subscribe button and the bell icon, and you'll be notified as soon as we put out new stuff.